How often do you get mad at yourself for agreeing to something you didn't really want, just because someone asked you a question that made you feel guilty or pressured? Manipulators often use certain questions to twist your arm and get what they want. They want to take your time. They want to take your money. They want to take your emotions. They want to take your life to make you feel guilty and do what they want. It's not just about helping. It's about taking more from you than you're willing to give. But you shouldn't let them steal your energy and resources. You have the right to protect yourself and live by your own rules. The more energy you give them, the more you compromise, sacrificing yourself to preserve the relationship, the more brazen they become. They will squeeze every last drop out of you and throw it away without you even noticing. Personally, I resent this kind of behavior and will never tolerate it. When you stop focusing solely on yourself and start paying attention to your surroundings, you begin to notice that the world isn't as hospitable as you thought. Every passerby wants only one thing from you: to take your money and disappear. As long as you think your sacrifices in the name of friendship, love, or relationships with colleagues will earn gratitude, you're trapped. On the contrary, respect for you declines, and you begin to be seen as someone who can be taken advantage of. Because convenient people aren't respected, honest people are. I've spent a lot of time in such relationships, so I know from personal experience how destructive it is. Of course, I still fall into manipulative traps, but now it happens much less often, and I can quickly recognize subtle manipulation. This is a long journey of liberation, which I invite you to take with me, because I want the world to be filled with more people who know what they want and can defend their interests. These are the kind of people you want to associate with and respect. 1. If you don't help, who else is going to do it? When I hear this now, I think, hey, look around. There are 8 billion other people on Earth. Why are you picking on me? Go to hell. This question is directed at you specifically because the manipulator senses your weakness. The point of this question is this: you are responsible for the outcome. It shifts the burden of responsibility onto your shoulders, making you feel obligated to act. But the truth is, you are not responsible for everyone else's problems. This kind of manipulation thrives on making you feel guilty for saying no. The reality is that there are always other people who can help, and your job isn't to be everything to everyone. Saying no isn't the end of the world. The world will keep turning, and others will find a way. I remember once a friend asked me to help with something, even though I was already on edge. I hesitated, but the guilt over asking weighed heavily on me. In the end, I agreed, even though I knew it wasn't for me. Eventually, it wore me down, and I regretted not setting clear boundaries. I tried talking to a friend about it, but he gave me a very harsh response. He said, "It's your own fault. How am I supposed to know how you feel and whether you can help me?" And the interesting thing is, he was right. After all, I was the one who succumbed to manipulation. But does that mean everyone is consciously trying to take advantage of you? I don't think so. We tend to overestimate people's ability to understand and be aware of what they're doing and how they're behaving. Most manipulation happens unconsciously, automatically. It's already become part of their psyche, their way of life, and they don't even notice. So holding a grudge against everyone who takes advantage of you is futile. We are all human. This is who we are. It's our nature. All the qualities we possess are necessary for us. They helped us survive for thousands of years in the wild. Therefore, our ability to manipulate is not accidental. The question is, who is manipulating whom? As Seneca wisely observed, people are hurt not so much by what is done to them as by what they allow to be done to them. When someone tries to manipulate you, imagine your son or daughter in your place. Wouldn't it be enjoyable to watch them feel awkward and insecure because they can't say no? What would you want to do with a manipulator? An interesting perspective, isn't it? Well, you're someone's son or daughter, so be angry with yourself, your lack of character and cowardice. What would the ancient Greeks say if they saw someone trembling and playing along? You already know the answer. Number 2, why do you always put yourself first? The first thing I want to answer here is, who should I put first besides myself? You? Your problems? Your interests? The manipulator feigns saintliness here, claiming they've cast aside their own interests and are serving some idea, group, or something else. Just because someone has sacrificed themselves for various delusional ideas doesn't mean I should do the same. Why do I constantly have to sacrifice my own needs? It's maddening. The meaning of this question is clear: to accuse you of excessive selfishness, which is a lie. They want to steal your soul and force you to submit to certain concepts that someone else deems right. Only one thing should be on your mind: what do you personally believe is right? For a person to effectively counter manipulations, they need a strong sense of self-awareness, confidence, and clear boundaries. Often, what's lacking is the ability to assert oneself without guilt or fear of upsetting others. People might not realize that saying no is a necessary skill in protecting their time, energy, and well-being. They might also struggle with recognizing manipulation in real time, especially if it's disguised as a plea for help or a genuine request. To master the art of deflecting manipulations, one needs emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize the subtle tactics used by manipulators and to stay grounded in their values. A person who manipulates others often feels a sense of dominance and control. They may fully understand that they are deceiving you, and yet they feel confident, even smug. They know exactly how to exploit your emotions and weaknesses, and this gives them a sense of power. They watch how you react, how easily you fall into their tricks, and this may bring them a sense of amusement or even disdain. In their eyes, you seem helpless, almost laughable, because they realize how effortlessly they can manipulate you. They take pleasure in deceiving you, often with no guilt or regret. However, this behavior reveals their inner emptiness and instability, as they rely on manipulation to validate their own worth. I remember a situation where a friend asked me to cover for them at a family event, even though I had plans with my own family. I hesitated at first, but then they used the classic line, "You're the only one who can do this for me." The guilt hit me, and for a moment, I almost agreed. But then I stopped myself. I knew I had to prioritize my own commitments. I calmly told them, "I can't do it this time. I have other plans." At first, they were upset. They didn't understand why I wouldn't just help them out, and we had a brief argument. But later, when I stuck to my decision, something changed. They didn't push me again. In fact, they started respecting my boundaries more and began to value my time, something they hadn't done before. As the philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre wisely stated, freedom is what you do with what's been done to you. Manipulation can only take root if you allow it. Don't give others the power to dictate your choices. Number 3, do you really want to be the one who ruins everything? When I hear this question, my immediate reaction is anger. Who are they to put all the blame on me? It's such an absurd and manipulative way to make me feel like I'm the sole person responsible for everything going wrong. It's not my job to carry the weight of the world on my shoulders. And yet, this question forces me into that role. This question makes you doubt yourself, turning the situation into something that feels like a moral obligation to act. It's not about the situation or the decision you're making. It's about making you believe it's your fault everything is falling apart. It's an emotional trap designed to manipulate your sense of responsibility, making you feel like the stakes are much higher than they actually are. The key to countering this manipulation is to take a step back and look at the situation objectively. You have the right to make choices, even if they don't align with someone else's interests. A calm and confident response, "I understand your concerns, but I'm not responsible for them," will help you regain control and set clear boundaries. Manipulators want us to compromise, but why shouldn't they do it themselves? Ultimately, sacrificing yourself can lead to resentment, burnout, and loss of self-esteem over time. By constantly giving in to this pressure, you reinforce the belief that you're responsible for everything, even if it's not your fault. You'll find it difficult to break out of this vicious cycle once you give in, as it gradually undermines your ability to say no. On the flip side, if you stand firm and refuse to accept the manipulation, there may be initial discomfort or even anger from the manipulator. However, you will preserve your integrity, your peace of mind, and your self-respect. While it might feel challenging at first, choosing not to be manipulated will ultimately lead to healthier relationships, where boundaries are respected and your needs are valued. As the philosopher Robert Greene once said, The best way to protect yourself from manipulation is to make sure your mind is clear and your boundaries are strong. I am one of those who is trying to take care of your mind, but only you can protect your boundaries. Ultimately, personal responsibility means standing by your choices and accepting the consequences of your actions, without blaming yourself for things beyond your control. You're not responsible for the outcome of every situation and shouldn't bear the burden of other people's decisions, but be prepared to face rejection from others. It's inevitable, but only then can you become free. Number 4, you don't want to be the person who misses out on this opportunity, right? Oh yes, this is one of my favorite phrases. Not only are you being offered to do something you don't need, but it's also presented as if it's something absolutely essential for your life. As if they're doing you a favor, as if this is your last chance. If I took every opportunity to, say, save money, I'd be eating out of trash bins. Not every opportunity is one you need to seize. This question is a manipulation tactic meant to force you into making a quick decision based on fear rather than rational thought. It appeals to your fear of missing out, FOMO, and makes you feel that if you don't act immediately, you'll regret it. It's a way of bypassing your logic and making you act impulsively, without considering whether the opportunity is truly in line with your goals or values. The key to countering this type of manipulation is to pause and evaluate. Don't let anyone rush you. Simply say, I need time to think about this. This gives you the space to assess whether the opportunity is actually worth pursuing or just another emotional tactic used to manipulate your choices. Slow down and think carefully, for the greatest wisdom is to act with caution. This quote from Socrates emphasizes the importance of taking time to think before acting. He believed that true wisdom comes from careful consideration, not rushing decisions impulsively. Calm and thoughtful actions lead to better outcomes. They use pressure tactics because they're afraid. They're not willing to accept you for who you are, as it could be a threat to them. You can politely say, I need time to think about this. Let me call you back. This allows you to set boundaries and take the time you need to assess the situation. As philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer wisely observed, the greatest difficulty in life is deciding what to choose. In a world full of distractions and constant pressure, it's important to take a step back and make an informed decision. Don't let the fear of missing out dictate your choices. Your peace of mind and your goals are more valuable than an impulsive decision. The 4 manipulative questions we've explored. If you don't help, who else is going to do it? Why do you always put yourself first? Do you really want to be the one who ruins everything? And you don't want to be the person who misses out on this opportunity, right? All share a common goal: to pressure you into acting against your best interests. They play on guilt, fear, and the desire to please others. Take a moment to reflect. Which of these manipulative questions have you fallen for in the past? How can you start setting stronger boundaries today? Leave a comment below and share your thoughts. I'd love to hear your experiences and insights. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips on how to protect your energy and live life on your own terms. Remember, your time and decisions are yours to control. It's time to take back your power.